Hey guys, HDvee here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got a ton of new stuff to go over for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Things that you might have missed in the latest trailer for the Generation 9 games. Also, we've got some new rumors, speculations to go over about the new legendary Pokemon. Plenty of stuff to cover in today's video. So if you're excited for it, as always, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500. It really does help out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we cover in today's video. Subscribe if you're brand new for daily Pokemon content. Ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video, and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, we're going to be talking about this bracelet that seems to have popped up on the wristbands of many of the protagonists in the reveal trailer. It's got a lot of people talking about potentially Mega Evolutions being back, whether it's going to be related to the gimmick, etc, etc. This was posted by HDvee though, saying for people freaking out about the gloves in the first picture, so this one here, they show a total of 4 glove designs, and clearly none of the other 3 have this little thing on them. So I really don't think it means anything, simply a design choice, though a weird one. So yeah, this is obviously what they're talking about. So this is what people think has something to do with like the gimmick or Mega Evolution or something like that. But then, as you can see in other pictures, the protagonist has a glove. There's no little kind of symbol, bead thing, whatever you want to call it, on that wrist. And then also on these two as well, there's nothing there. So again, it's a little bit different to the rival's wrist. I will say that that one looks a little bit more gimmicky, I guess. But just for the random protagonist, no, these are just gloves. So again, we'll have to wait and see for more information about that. The next thing we're going to go over though is a thread by HDvee saying that each of them is a Pokemon you can meet in their respective version, which is a wording that I don't remember ever being used for the legendary Pokemon. It makes me believe that we will not see the other during the story. To me, this seems to support that they're one Pokemon. So I guess this is a bit of a theory to say that Koraidon and Miraidon are the same Pokemon, just in 2 like different kind of forms in the game. So but yeah, this is taken from the website. It says Koraidon is a legendary Pokemon you can meet in Scarlet, Miraidon in Violet. These 2 Pokemon are said to have powers that far surpass those of other Pokemon, but details about Koraidon and Miraidon are still shrouded in mystery. So yeah, that's quite an interesting thing. Also goes on to say, in general, these games seem a lot more separated than previous titles, having an exclusive professor to each version, which seems to be due to the whole 2 schools thing. Plus the site even says one of the 2 will appear in your game. Either this is a weird wording, or perhaps different values will appear in each version, with one being ruled by tradition and the other by progress. It doesn't seem like the region itself will change, since we see both modern and ancient elements in many screenshots like this one. So yeah, this is also from the website. For the first time in the series, one of 2 different professors will appear in your game, depending on the version you choose to play. There's been a lot of theories and speculation about the professors potentially being like the evil team leaders, and obviously like the professor that you don't have. Like, so if you're in Scarlet, you have the Violet professor as the team leader, and then if you're in Violet, you have the Scarlet professor as the team leader. Then he goes on to say, if this is the case though, it kind of makes me wonder what the plot of this game actually is. All we really know so far is that the professor is researching lore passed down, which is referring to the legends. This vague description also supports it being the same Pokemon, in my opinion. So in Pokemon Scarlet, you'll meet Professor Seda, and in Pokemon Violet, you'll meet Professor Turo. Each is carrying out research into certain lore passed down in the region. And then they say, you can see Nemona and the player character using the same uniform, which you may expect her to be from the opposite school, seeing as she's your rival. I think this seems to support there is only being one school in each version. So yeah, the whole like grape and orange situation we thought would be like rival schools, but I don't think that's the case. I generally just think if you're in Scarlet, you have the orange school, and then if you're in Violet, you have the grape school, and then that's it. I don't think there's rival schools in this game. For the opposite side of this, you can see a futuristic dome behind the orange symbol, which is Scarlet in the past, and a treehouse kind of thing behind the grape symbol Violet in future, which seems to imply that these are part of the exact same shot and not separate. And then, however, you can see the grape symbol over the door of this big building. Of course, this could just mean this building is part of this school slash group slash whatever, but it's definitely interesting since both symbols are on pillars, yet only one is on the door it's centered to. So, again, just a couple of things that you might have missed from the trailer there. Big shout out to HDvee for this thread. But yeah, some interesting things nonetheless. The next thing we're going to go over is a massive kind of theory about the legendary Pokemon. This was posted on the r/PokeLeaks Reddit by Ina, and they said a comprehensive theory regarding Koraidon and Miraidon. So combining leaks, official information, and wild speculation. So I'm guessing that at the start of this game, Sada has already found Koraidon in a dormant form, and Turo created Miraidon, but doesn't have enough energy to make it work. The plot will start normally with the player finishing a tutorial and then going out into the world to find and defeat gyms. Every few gyms, the player will be given an assignment by the professor to track down an energy source, probably related to the regional gimmick, with the first awakening of the legendary in a bike equivalent form, and the next unlocking additional forms. So that would be like swimming, climbing, flying, stuff like that. A rival or two from the opposite school will also be seeing the same energy for their professor, and the player will have to battle them. But again, I don't know if there are rival schools. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But I just think that it's just going to be like your school, and then that's it, just depending on the game you play. I think there's going to be quite a few version differences in this game. Koraidon's bike form, like everyone else, I'm expecting a form resembling a classic motorcycle. Naturally, the throat wheel will be the front wheel and the tail will turn into the back wheel. Most people seem to be guessing that the shoulder spikes will be handlebars, but I'm guessing that the wheel and spikes will shift forward and the spikes will be fork, keeping the wheel attached to the body. The limbs and head will shrink with the limbs moving out of the way or disappearing entirely, and the head will shift position to allow the horns to act as handlebars. Miraidon's bike form, so the bulk of its body seems like it's supposed to fold and retract into a compact form. I'm guessing that the solid part of its neck will retract into the body, with the base of the neck sticking out of the bottom and the torso, and the energy will form a single wheel, making Miraidon a jet-propelled, high-tech unicycle, which could be a thing. I mean, it does have jet engines and stuff on it. The arms and tail will retract and the arms will fold out of the way, the head will form a windshield, and the energy horns will disappear and the shoulder spikes acting as handlebars. Koraidon's water form will be similar to the bike form, except that the throat and wheel and tail will shrink or disappear, and the limbs will be used for propulsion. And the Miraidon's water form, also similar to the bike form, the energy wheel will reshape itself into a hull, making Miraidon a jet-powered speedboat. And then we have Koraidon's climbing form, which again, hasn't been confirmed that these things are going to have 5 forms, just very much seems like that. The presence of a climbing form isn't 100% guaranteed, but I expect one. I see 2 possibilities. Either it will resemble the bike form with the spikes on the wheels growing to dig into the wall, or it will resemble the water form with the fingers and toes losing the webbing and gaining large claws. I think the latter is more likely. But Miraidon's climbing form, it appears that these are folded legs attached to the jet, so I'm guessing that for the climbing form, all 4 of Miraidon's limbs will unfold and extend while the head and tail remain retracted. In this form, the energy tire will become its hips. And then Koraidon's flight form, considering all of the feathers, it will probably just sprout wings, or its existing feathers will fold outwards to produce a lifting surface. But Miraidon's flight form, energy wings. This one part of the body where I noticed energy that doesn't seem to be emitting or attaching something is on the sides of the shoulder spikes, so I'm guessing they will be part where the wings come out. And the battle forms for the 2 of them are the form on the boxes, and the player will have to battle the opposite version professor to obtain the energy to unlock it. Not as an enemy, but to test to prove the validity of your professor's philosophy. Once the legendary receives its complete form, the player will have to catch it and formally add it to the team. Of course, Koraidon will be dragon fighting and Miraidon will be dragon electric. Again, very, very likely to be the case. That's basically what Ku leaked. If the rumored 3rd type gimmick exists and can only give a single type to each Pokemon, then Koraidon will be able to gain the flying type and Miraidon will be able to gain the steel type. As far as their abilities, I'm arbitrarily guessing that Koraidon will get a renamed version of Scrappy and Miraidon will get a renamed version of Levitate. For signature moves, I'm guessing that Koraidon will have a physical fighting type move that uses the throat wheel to attack, and Miraidon will have a special electric type move that fires projectiles from its throat. Both seem like they could have multi-hit moves. Yeah, I feel like Koraidon, the stat distribution wise, will be physical and more bulky on the physical side, and I think Miraidon will be more specially attacking, shooting lasers and stuff like that. But yeah, like I say, Koraidon I think will be using its actual hands and legs and stuff. Fusion with a 3rd legendary seems unlikely. If it does happen, the 3rd legendary will just ride the box legendary. There are a few different possibilities for how to handle the fused legendary. It won't be allowed to return to its Pokeball if the player rides the box legendary. The 3rd legendary will have to walk even if it's otherwise riding the box legendary. The 3rd legendary will sit behind the player if it's following and the player is riding the legendary. And as a similar friendship, the opposite version professor will let the player borrow their legendary as transportation, with the player being able to pick which one to the ride of the 3rd legendary isn't fused to one. It will, of course, be impossible to fuse the other version's legendary to the 3rd legendary unless it's transferred in. The option is the coolest but most complicated and probably not very likely. So your theory is actually well constructed, and I'm willing to believe it. I'd add that there might be a twist with the professors and the legendary, depending on the version. I wouldn't be surprised that whether you're in Scarlet or Violet version, there is a good and an evil professor. Maybe the end of the game is you liberating the legendary, which was supposed to be used as an object/weapon by one of the professors. That's my guess onto your theory. In order of at least unexpected to most unexpected, So number 1, opposite version professor is evil or misguided. Same version professor is evil or misguided. Number 3, both are misguided and cause problems that the player has to fix. And then number 4, there is no normal distinction between the two, and both are good people with different, equally valid beliefs. So yeah, massive theory about the legendaries. Big shout out to Ina for creating it. Really, really well thought out. Again, we're kind of convinced that these legendaries are going to have multiple forms, and I guess that is just further established with like the wheel and stuff on the chest piece of the legendaries. But either way, that is going to be everything for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. Leave a comment with your thoughts on everything we covered in today's video. Subscribe if you're brand new, or ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.